Okay, so we've entered the Lost Children arc, and it is a curiosity. In some ways, it seems like it was tossed in there almost as a time killer or as filler. And yet there's enough interesting things going on in the story to captivate my interest. How it added to the storyline is the big question for me. We have Guts entering a village. He meets a young girl like Jill who seems to be supportive of him. The town is, as usual, suspicious of Guts. He doesn't look like the friendly type. He learns a little bit about the village and this valley of mist where antagonistic elves live that capture children and devour adults. That's what begins to happen. The village is attacked. The villagers cower, and Guts does not. And of course, we know Guts is never going to cower. He, in essence, stops the attack on the village by these elvish winged creatures that seem to revert to attacking hornet type creatures. So they have one friendly side, and then when they do their dirty work, they become who they really are, which is a mad band of hornets intent only on killing. Guts gets faced with these, so he blasts them, kills a whole bunch of these, and I want to make a point of it, these hornet creatures. But when the village comes to see them, these hornet creatures seem to be dead children, burned up in the fire caused by the explosion of his Gatling gun arm of many purposes. It's like the ultimate multi-purpose tool. He's invited to leave the village or die at their hands, and he is sort of pushed out of the way by his friend, enemy, acquaintance, comrade, partner, Puck. Hard to describe what Puck is. Sometimes a dear friend, sometimes a bug. He really wants to usher Guts away so that Guts doesn't kill everybody in the village. It's kind of his way. I'll be your friend, but don't mess with me, or then you become my enemy. So he does leave. Jill follows him. Innocent, sweet Jill. They encounter Mothra again, who looks an awful lot like Jill's old friend. I'm not going to go into the whole storyline. You guys have read it, maybe understand it better than I do. But Mothra returns, seems to captivate Jill, and that's understandable. She's a lovely creature when she's trying to capture the innocent. But that's not who she is. And the only one that seems to know it for certain, with absolute clarity, is Guts. And I attribute that to the fact that he's dealt with these creatures before. He knows what they're all about. They look one way, but when they come to kill you, that's who they really are. The classic example is the opening of book 1 with the demon woman looking like the beautiful woman. And what she did to Corcus, I'll never forgive her. I don't have to anymore. I think she's been dispatched. Anyway, this arc, I guess I'm in the middle of the arc. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm to the point in the book where Mothra carries off Jill with the promise, you'll be like me flying around. And all I can say is, I hope Guts puts aside his anger, does what he does best, which is rescue people in distress, men and women. I hope he goes after her. I have no idea if he's going to. It may be too late. A lot will likely depend on how much resistance Jill can give Mothra, and I suspect not much. Right now, I'm kind of assuming I'm halfway through it. And at the halfway point, I say, really, what's this thing all about? Is it necessary? But I would never close a book because I thought a few pages were boring. And these weren't boring. There was enough going on to keep my interest, but it seems a departure from the overall theme of the book. But let's just see what the author does with it in the next few, well, I'm coming to the end of book 5. Let's see what he does with this arc, and then we'll comment on it. Now, one of the reasons I'm absolutely going to carry through is it's my way to carry through. If I start a book, I finish it. That's just the way it is. But I'm encouraged because Crystal's a little ways ahead of me, and she says book 6 is quite good. And I'm nearing the end of book 5. I have a feeling book 5 will end with this particular arc, and I'll find out what happens to our friend Jill. And she's my friend at this point.